Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we are finally continuing the color theory series. Thank you so much for being patient with me. There's been a lot going on in November, and mentally, I have had a lot going on in my personal life and professional life, and just it's been a lot. So, we are here today, and we're diving into how you can use color psychology to set the rooms in your builds for the perfect mood. So, I'll be sharing tips on how different colors affect moods, and then also how to incorporate them into your builds. So, if you're new to my channel, I say this all the time, but I build for vibes, not necessarily for functionality. So, that's what we're getting into today. I want to throw a quick disclaimer that these are just general guidelines. There is no rule when it comes to creativity. You can use whatever colors in whatever rooms you want. These are just kind of some things to think through whenever you're getting comfortable with thinking through your design choices. So before we dive in, let's take a crash course on color psychology. I'm going to look down at some of my notes while I do this, so just bear with me. But color psychology is the study of how colors affect human behavior, emotions, and perceptions. So it's used in various fields like marketing, which we all are very familiar with, design and art, and it influences different responses and moods. So a quick overview with some of the associations with different colors is that red is often associated with passion, energy, and urgency. It can actually increase your heart rate and create a sense of excitement, but it can also represent danger and anger. We have blue, which is linked to calmness, trust, and professionalism. It's often used by businesses because it creates a sense of reliability and stability. Yellow represents happiness, warmth, and positivity, which I think a lot of us are very familiar with, but it can also actually represent anxiety or frustration if overused. Then green evokes feelings of nature, growth, and harmony, and it's often used in the health and wellness branding because it represents peace and balance. So think of like spas and things of that nature with meditation. Purple conveys luxury, creativity, and wisdom. Why I choose purple for my channel. But it's historically associated with royalty and is commonly used in beauty and high-end brands. Black represents power, sophistication, and elegance, but it can also be seen as intimidating or associated with grief. White often symbolizes purity, cleanliness, and simplicity, and it's popular in minimalistic design and healthcare industries for a sense of clarity, cleanliness. Sterile is what I usually refer to things that are overly white. And if you want more insights or even just ideas on thinking through the colors that you choose in your designs to evoke a certain feeling or emotion, I really recommend this Prism Oracle deck. I don't really use it for the Oracle aspect of it, but it does provide like a lot of energies, vibes, moods that are associated with various colors. I don't know if you're going to be able to read these, but yellow, too much of it can lead to anxiety. So this can represent anxiety. This can represent frustration. And it just goes through like all sorts of different colors and words and moods that are associated with them. And on top of it, it comes with a little book where you can actually read like descriptors of them and what they mean. So I think it's a pretty cool little thing to use and refer to if you have a certain mood or something that you're wanting to evoke. Obviously, this is for people who really take it super seriously and like to try and be intentional with the colors that they're choosing. But I'll link that down below. Just note that it is an Amazon affiliate link, so I will get like a very small commission, but it's at no additional cost to you. So if you really want it, then I appreciate if you use that link because then you can support me at no extra charge to you. But look, they're so pretty. Like, I have like a holographic kind of look to it. One interesting aspect of color psychology is that people can respond to colors differently based on their cultural backgrounds, their personal experiences, and even the context in which the color is presented. So color psychology is used to create specific atmospheres in spaces and evoke different types of emotions in advertisements and guide customer behavior on retail. So these are a couple of examples where color theory is used all the time. There is a Netflix documentary out right now called The Shopping Conspiracy, and there's a previous executive from Amazon who talks about how they tried different colors for their buttons and what got you to buy more. And so, like, this is a real science, and I'm not going to get into the weeds that much in this video, but I just thought it'd be cool to kind of give a brief background more so you can accustom yourself to what we're going to be talking about today. And just keep in mind that while we're keeping this in the context of Sims, this goes into real life too. So if you want to change up your space that you live in real life, your apartment, your home, then I mean, obviously these are meant to help you in that process as well. So now to the good stuff. We're gonna go ahead and start diving in. I'm going to break this down into 4 different groups where we're gonna talk about warm colors, cool colors, neutral colors, and then more of the bold statement colors. Now I have already posted a video that looks at cool versus warm colors, and I'll make sure I link that down below for you to watch, as well as just the color theory playlist in general. Warm colors are your reds, oranges, yellows, and shades that remind us of warmth, sunlight, and fire. They're associated with energy, positivity. I have happiness as an example here, and then excitement, which I have illumination, and they naturally draw attention. So red, for example, is known to boost energy and increase appetite, which is why you often see them in restaurants. So think about your kitchens, for example. Orange is playful and friendly, so you can think about that being in social spaces where you want more of a sense of fun and connection. Yellow brings in positivity and brightness. It's a cheerful color that can make any room feel more sunny and uplifting. So now we're gonna look at an example in the gallery. If you're new to this series, I generally try to pull creations that you all make in the gallery, not myself. And I might try to tweak color swatches of things to kind of get my point across, but generally speaking, all of these are made by you all. So I have a lot of fun trying to find things that you all build to put into these videos. But warm colors work really well in rooms where you want energy and interaction, like kitchens, dining rooms, or living rooms. We're gonna look at an example of a living room space. So as you can see in this living room, there is a lot of like orange, yellow, and some touches of red. And so that's what is meant to be more vibrant and kind of give a warmth to the space that makes it more entertaining for social engagement of some sort and aspect. So just keeping in mind that warm colors can be pretty powerful colors. So that leads me to my first tip, which is to always balance warm colors with some type of neutral. Warm colors themselves are very intense colors, and so if you have it a little too overwhelming, it can become a lot, and you always want to incorporate maybe beiges, whites, blacks, browns, grays, some of those colors more so to help keep it from feeling too overwhelming and overstimulating. And this one, I definitely changed a lot of the color swatches from the original, but the browns and the floors, some of the furniture around here, the bookcases are nice neutrals, and I actually use this really light pink color as a neutral. So you can definitely do that. It's a very muted tone in a way, and it kind of contrasts with some of these darker, more warm colors. And then the brown paneling in the back also helps ground more of that neutral color. But this is what is like a really fun, eclectic space that kind of sparks creative conversation, just creativity in general. Believe it or not, it is not even 3 o'clock. Look how dark it's already gotten since I started this video. Oh man, this time of year is so weird. But next up, we're going to talk about cool colors. So these are colors like blues, greens, and purples, and they remind us of things like water, the sky, nature. And again, these colors are known for their calming, soothing effects, and they help us relax and feel more at peace. Blue has often been linked to feelings of calm and trust, and it's a great color for creating a sense of stability and relaxation. From this, we have like flow, so thinking of like water and nature, and then trust. So gives you that stability aspect a little bit. Green brings in more of a refreshing and natural vibe, so it's associated with balance and growth, making it a perfect color for spaces where you want that connection to nature. So again, we have growth here and then balance. And then purple, especially shades like lavender, can add a touch of luxury and creativity, and it's often used to create more restful, imaginative spaces. So we have creativity, and we also have, it's kind of hard to read, but comfort, really touching on that restful aspect that I had just mentioned. So for these colors, think of rooms like bedrooms, bathrooms, offices. These are places where we want to feel comfortable and just be able to relax or feel calm and not stressed out. And so for this example, I have a bedroom space here. And so this bedroom has like a nice balanced blue and green color palette. Immediately when you see it, at least to me, I do feel like there's a sense of relaxation and calmness that doesn't feel too overwhelming. It does have some fun patterns and things. Now, this is a lot of cool colors in one space. And so often you, again, want to balance a little bit. So my quick tip here is if you don't want the room to feel too cold, try using cool colors as accents, like in decor or wall art, and balance them with warm lighting to keep the space cozy. So as you can see, the lighting is pretty cold right now, but if you changed it to like a more yellow tone, look how much warmer the space feels. And so even though it's mostly blues and greens and you don't have a lot of warm colors to offset it, it automatically makes the room feel a little bit warmer if you don't want it to be too cool. And then you can always just kind of go and look for swatches like this. Still matches, it's a lot of blues and greens, but it incorporates a little bit of orange to provide a little balance to the room to where it's not too much or too overwhelming. And actually, this bed has a few, like this one's all cool colors, and you could incorporate purple a little bit if you wanted to on that swatch, or even just mostly purple, and it still kind of matches the room. Cool colors go really well together, so it is easy to overuse them. So now let's talk about neutrals. And I know like some of you might be like, oh, this is boring. I don't want to use neutrals. I don't like using neutrals. Well, these are, of course, going to be your whites, grays, browns, beiges. And so they seem simple, but they are really important and incredibly versatile. So I like to think of neutrals as like a canvas to the room because they help other colors pop out even more to help not only balance the space, but make them stand out. But the cool thing with neutrals, unlike other colors and color groups in general, is that you can actually create entire spaces using neutral colors. So that's something that doesn't work as well whenever you're using a lot of warm colors or a lot of cool colors, or it doesn't even matter, just a lot of color in general, because you always want it to be balanced and offset with neutral tones, but you can use as much neutral as you want in any space. And neutrals have been associated with being generally calming and unobtrusive, so they make them perfect for spaces where you want peaceful, stable atmospheres, vibes, things of that nature. So whites, for example, are fresh and clean, and they create more of this open feeling. Stark white areas tend to seem a lot bigger. And then gray is like often associated with balance, sophistication. Browns and beiges bring warmth and an earthy feel to a room. So think of things like boho style rooms. And so to go off of that, like some of the colors, like peace, this is a nice neutral color. It's like a beigey color. And then you also end up having consciousness. I like to think of that, since gray is like more about sophistication, I kind of link those together a little bit. And so since they are so flexible, you can literally use them anywhere. They're not necessarily better for certain types of rooms than others. And they're great for living rooms, bedrooms, or offices where you want more of a timeless, adaptable look. You can try using neutrals as your main color scheme in more timeless designs, more like think modern minimalistic designs. So oftentimes a lot of modern homes use tons of neutral colors. Minimalist designs use a ton of neutral colors, but then you want to pair them with like bold accents. So you could think of things like cushions, pillows, art, decor, anything of that nature, curtains, and that helps those stand out even more without overpowering the room. So that's why sometimes you'll see a lot of design where they use a lot of neutrals, but then the colors they do incorporate are super wild, vibrant colors because they work fine since most of the space is neutral. So for the next tip, I would just say make sure that you layer neutrals for design. So to keep a neutral room from looking flat, try layering different shades and textures. And so just to get that point across further, here is an office space that is pretty much solely neutral colors. We don't have much color at all in this entire office, but it actually looks fine. It looks well grounded. You have different wood tones. So I do in the future plan on doing a video that talks about combining different wood tones. But one great way to do this is you have the floor be a dark wood tone, and then all of the furniture and accents are light wood tones. So you still get that contrast where even though they're two different neutral colors, it looks like a color all its own because it is so different from the rest of the color around the room. So this dark brown stands out immediately to your eyes. I think this is a really tasteful use of the neutral colors in this room. But as you can see, it does give off those modern vibes. So that's kind of what we're going into with using a lot more neutral tones for rooms. So now's my favorite part, which is about the bold colors. These are like rich, eye-catching shades of like deep reds, navy blues. Black can actually be considered a bold color, more so than a neutral color, but I like to consider it both. And then bright purples and greens are also like super vivid colors that I think of immediately. Bold colors are used to make a statement and can add a lot of drama or even maybe sophistication to a room. You want to use them very sparingly in your builds. So bold colors evoke strong feelings. So think of your deep red that can like feel powerful and passionate. Black can add elegance and authority. Dark purple can bring a sense of depth and mystery, while bright colors like blue or green add an energetic, clean vibe. So powerful, we have like strength for that red color. Then we have confidence for the black. And we have mystery, which is a great one that I like to associate with purples. And then bright green is like movement. So, getting to that energetic vibe that I had mentioned. And then you have blue, which is cleanse, which gets to that kind of clean vibe that we talked about. These are colors you want to use for things like accent walls. I use accent walls all the time in my builds, and I think it adds an extra layer of like brightness and a pop of color, or something that makes the room more dynamic in general. But like statement furniture pieces, decor items, think of them like a wow factor in your design. So one example here that I have is like a combo of a living dining kitchen space. Keep in mind that I did say like normally for kitchens you want to use warm colors. I thought I'd show you how you can obviously use any colors that you want in these spaces. So this is using cool colors and it's like a lot of green going on. But I just wanted to show how changing and using some of these furniture pieces as accents can completely change the look of the room. And so when we go over here, all I did was kind of add a pop of magenta with some of the items that were in the previous room. So I didn't change any of the items. I just changed the color swatches of a few items. So if you wanted this main sofa to be a furniture piece that's like a statement piece, then keep these like the white and green, but have this one be the magenta, have the coffee table maybe match to stand off the green background a little bit more. I changed the dining table to a white just to lend more balance to the room and keep it a little more like grounded in a way because the green was a little much for me with the green chairs. I don't like that at all. Just a personal preference, not dogging this person on their design. But then I always, almost always have a different color cabinet between the bottom and top. So I like bitonal cabinetry. I think it's really beautiful and can be elegant looking, but this one is like used in a way that makes it more fun and vibrant. And so that's always a great way to bring that into your kitchen spaces is maybe have cabinets that work well together but are different colors. And then appliances, for instance, is a great way to add a pop of color too. So you can do this in several ways, but I just wanted to show you how like maybe the light fixture or one of the pieces of furniture, changing that alone can really change the entire look of a space. I definitely consider this to be more vibrant and upbeat, like more creative or, you know, stimulating than just the all green space over here. This leads me to my next tip, which is that when working with bold colors, less is more. Use them sparingly as accents to highlight specific areas without overwhelming the room. So pairing bold colors with neutral tones to create contrast and let the bold shine through as a focal point. That's the main point of these vibrant colors. You don't want it to be so many different vibrant colors together that it's overwhelming. I'm not saying I never do that. I think it can be fun to do that depending on the space. But again, you're thinking about the mood and the vibe, the energy that you want in the room. So whenever I'm thinking of like a teenage bedroom, for instance, I think lots of different color combinations that are wild and doing crazy things because it's supposed to be a fun creative space, like a kid's bedroom. Any type of kid's bedroom can be like a fun combination of colors. That's the point, right? But when you're thinking about a 30-year-old's primary bedroom, you wouldn't necessarily see that in the same light. You would see a lot of crazy eclectic colors as kind of like, okay, that's a bit much. It's not saying you can't have it. Again, it's all subjective, but I think it's just depending on what the space is for, who it's for, and the intention behind it is all it comes down to. And that leads us perfectly into the next section that we're going to talk about, which is just thinking generally about the function of the room. So you want to think about what each space is supposed to achieve and whether it's relaxation, energy, focus, social connection. These are things that you want to think about first before you start even putting furniture in and designing the room. Things like living rooms, they're great social spaces. And so you want to try to use warm colors like shades of yellow or orange to create an inviting, lively atmosphere. In this example, we have a lot of like red, orangish tones with a little bit of cool colors, which is balanced really well. I think this space is super cool. I love the vibe of it. Lots of warm colors. But then over here in the living space, you get a little more of like a green blue toned color, which works really well in balancing the space overall. So I think this is a really tastefully done room with like the dining space and the living space that still feels really inviting, and the lighting is very warm as well, which lends to that aspect a little more too. So then again, bedrooms can benefit from more calming and cool colors to promote more rest and relaxation. I hope that's what we want to achieve in our bedrooms. It doesn't mean you have to use those colors, but these colors can make these spaces feel like a retreat. So over on this side, we have a bedroom that has a nice, again, balance of cool and warm type tones. Here you can see like we have green curtains, you have the blue paint, the blue walls with some green elements, but then you have this like really faint pink, like corally color. It's almost more orange toned. And I think it works really well in here with the orange toned flooring with the wood. So I think, again, this is a really great example of how you can combine warm and cool colors, but you get more of that calming vibe just from the tones that you use. I definitely love this like little nook over here where you can lay down and relax and just read a book, journal, have some coffee, look out the window. I love that aspect. So next, looking in an office space, for instance, soft neutrals, muted blues can help with focus focus and productivity, keeping the atmosphere calm and professional. So this is a really good example of using a lot of neutral tones, but you still get little pops of blue. You have a dark blue, a light blue, a little bit of blue up here in some of the vases and pots, some blue over here, blue on the desk, and it's still like a calm, relaxing space that even though you use a ton of neutral tones, you get that little added color that just is balanced really well. And I definitely feel like I would be productive in this room. I wouldn't be super distracted from a lot of different colors and stimuli around the room. And then again, for our kitchen and dining spaces, consider warm colors like red or orange. These colors are great to subtly boost appetite and create a cozy, welcoming vibe. So you kind of get that double whammy with that aspect of it. And I thought this was a really cute little kitchen space that incorporates a lot of orange and kind of warm tones in the room without it feeling super overwhelming because of the browns that it incorporates too. So I'm going to give you 4 practical tips now on just using color psychology. The first being to use lighting to enhance the mood. Lighting can completely change the way colors feel, so warm lights can make reds, yellows, and oranges feel cozier, while cool lights can emphasize the calming effects of blues and greens. So experiment with this. I think this is oftentimes something that's overlooked in Sims builds that I see. A lot of us will plop a light down and never change the color of the lighting. You can do this in the game. You can change the color of the lights. You can make them warmer or not. If you wanted something that goes with it, you can change it to like a yellow, a warmer light, and look how that changes the tone of the room. It's very subtle, but it makes it feel a lot warmer. You could go to yellow orange and look how it changes. You could go to red orange, see how much redder it gets, but it definitely makes this space feel warmer. Now, if I were to do the opposite and I make it cooler tone, like with a cool white, look how it changes that. It's pretty drastic. You get a lot more of like the grays and the blue tones coming through versus this where it's gold, or this where it's really red. So you can like see big changes from something that's so small and so subtle. And then if you wanted to play with this in a cool toned room, you can see, for example, if you changed it to like a red orange, look how much warmer the space is changing these lights. Like you could definitely change the feel and vibe of an entire space if you make the lights a little bit warmer. Like if you wanted to make these orange, for instance, look how much warmer that room looks just from changing the lighting. Even with a room that uses predominantly cool colors, you can make it feel warmer just by changing the lights. So tip 2, add color with decor and accents. I've said it 5 times, I've said it 100 times. If you're not ready to fully commit to a bold color, try adding it through smaller decor items like cushions, rugs, or wall art. I've heard from a lot of you that you get uncomfortable with putting like bolder colors and using a lot of color because you're afraid it doesn't work well together. This is a great way to kind of inch into using them. Try to just like change a throw pillow or add a throw pillow to a couch with a pop of color. That's a great way to get out of your comfort zone and see if it works. And if you like it and you think it works really well with the space, try incorporating it in a couple little nooks here and there in the room. And that's a great way to introduce these psychological effects more subtly in each room. The next tip, adjust wall colors to set the tone. Wall colors are one of the easiest ways to shape the overall mood of a room, and that's true with accent walls as well. And for the last little tip here, balance colors for a cohesive look. Again, when working with stronger colors, you want to balance them with neutrals like white, gray, or beige. That helps keep the space from feeling too intense. So neutrals allow your chosen colors to shine without overwhelming the space, which creates a more cohesive and intentional look. That's what we're going for. You don't want it to look crazy. We want it to be intentional. And ultimately, color psychology is all about experimenting to see what feels right. So you want to try different combinations and layouts to help you discover what works and maybe what doesn't. And then you kind of get your own vibe and go to color combinations and your following builds. So it gets easier and easier and easier the more you practice it. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did, drop your comments down below to let me know what you learned, because that's always helpful for future videos. And I'd also love to hear how you think through your color combinations and color choices for your design. And lastly, don't forget about the Oracle deck if you want it. I think it's really cool and helpful, but I think it just depends on how seriously you take your design and if you really try to think through the intention of what you're trying to achieve. So if you're someone who just likes to make things look pretty, I wouldn't necessarily recommend using this, but I guess it could be helpful to kind of see which colors look well together. So you can like take the cards and throw them together. I like to randomly choose cards sometimes to see like what works well and what doesn't, because it forces me to see colors together that I otherwise maybe wouldn't try to use. In the next color theory video I'm planning on, we're going to discuss creating contrast with color. So I'm really excited about that one. And if you have any topics you want me to dive into, then drop them down below in the comments too. And if you're not subscribed, I'd love to have you be part of the community. We've been growing steadily and kind of quickly actually the past couple of months. I'm super excited about where we're going. And I've been streaming a lot more on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. Make sure you follow me on those platforms so you don't miss anything. And I love to hang out with you. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay? Bye! You guys, I seriously think that these videos make me the most anxious out of all the video content I put on my channel. I don't know why. I'm just worried that it's not super valuable or that I'm not doing a really great job. Please, please, please give me feedback and what you would like to learn and know.